to be a guest and
so you're
record at the
videotaping.
same time.
Okay. Cool.
Multitask.
So now, should I ask them to turn the music off, or should I just read over it?
I don't know. You want to
read over it.
You want to turn it off?
No,
It's up to you what you want.
You know what?
Because other people, somebody might hear you reading and come over here.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
so,
what they said they wanted.
so just read over it.
Yeah, just try to read over it.
Okay.
Who's
So
filming with the big camera?
he's filming with the big camera.
Okay, cool.
Okay. You guys can't hear me over the music. Then.
Yes.
We can hear
Yeah, okay. So, my name is Sumiko Saulson. I think most of you already know that. But today I'm reading from Happiness and Other Diseases, which is a dark fantasy novel. And it's about Flynn K. He's had a rough year. His nightmares are starting to manifest in reality, but no one believes him. Terrifying creatures are trying to cross out of his dreams into the physical realm. Only Flynn can stop them, but doing so might cost him his life. Complicating matters further, one of these creatures can't help but wanting him in every forbidden way. Will she be able to save him from his fate? Can she even protect him from herself? So, yeah, without further ado, I guess I'll start from the start. And there's a quote at the beginning of this, which is by Mark Twain, and it says, "Sanity and happiness are an impossible combination." Prelude. Her skin was black as pitch, and her obsidian hair unfurled into the sky in waves of endlessly flowing darkness. It swirled and danced like ink spilled into water. Curling tendrils waved as they were set adrift, threatening to engulf the sky where she reclined. As she settled in for the evening, her ebony skin erupted with the bright pinpoint lights of twinkling stars. They were her birthmarks, separated by space and time. Her name was Nyx, and she was the night. She opened her alabaster white eye, gazed down upon the earth, and was troubled. Something was amiss. Reluctantly descending from her resting place in the sky, she retired to one of her many palaces. This particular abode was a mountain on the surface of Venus. She chose it because a human had named it in her honor, which pleased her immensely. Once she settled in, she summoned her twin sons, Somnus and Thanatos, who were asleep in death. "Somnus, Thanatos, sit, we have much to speak of," she bade them, gesturing towards the two seats at her table. Thanatos gave Somnus a sideways glance. Both of the boys knew they were in trouble. "Thanatos," Nyx began, "I have noticed a disturbing trend lately. More and more of the humans are dying in their sleep, and I can't help but think that you and your brother are up to no good." Act 1, The Arrival of Happiness. Nightmares. It was the same dream he'd had every night for the past year, but every time it haunted him, little details changed. Minor changes in setting and action were not the only differences in this bedtime story. Each time he had the dream, things went a little bit further than the last. The last couple of dreams had taken place in a powder gray office chair behind the white formica-coated IKEA computer desk in his cubicle at work. He was tired of staring at the navy blue cubicle tiles. 4 mismatched push pins secured a printout of the company's phone directory. He was more than a little relieved for a change of scenery. This time, he was sitting on a bar stool at Murphy's Tavern. Half a dozen co-workers from the call center were seated around the bar, sucking down shots of tequila and pint glasses of domestic beer, poured out in abundance from the various $10 pitchers purchased for the party. Richard and Cindy from accounting were on stage, belting out their drunken rendition of Summer Lovin' from the musical Grease. Richard hammed it up with gratuitous hip gyrations, winking and serenading the secretary seated in the front row. By contrast, Cindy failed to make eye contact with anyone, keeping her doe-eyed gaze fixed firmly on the karaoke monitor. Flynn remembered that part of the dream from last October. It was a going-away party for someone from the constantly rotating administrative pool temporary staff. He couldn't remember the girl's name, but he remembered her suits. She was in her late 20s or early 30s, yet she wore these tailored pink and powder blue designer suits that put him in mind of Nancy Reagan of all things. They seemed very incongruous for a woman of her age and economics. He always wondered if they were hand-me-downs from a formerly fashionable maiden aunt. Richard and Cindy finished their song right after he finished his beer. Four drunken, obnoxious dudes from the IT department were halfway through their voluminous and off-key rendition of Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody when the Thing finally showed up. Just like in every previous nightmare, it materialized suddenly out of thin air. One moment he was looking at his own dog-tired mug in the mirror on the bar back. The next he was staring into the gaping maw of whatever it was that terrorized his dreams. It rarely took the same form twice. This time it was shadowy and semi-translucent. It had withered legs and arms resembling the gnarled branches of a lightning-struck tree. They were almost humanoid, yet woefully emaciated. The creature was straddling his lap, facing him, with its talons resting on either of his shoulders. Flynn gasped as he felt the claws sliding effortlessly into the flesh of his right shoulder. He felt a hot gush of blood flow out of his wounds, and then slowly trickle down the back of his white t-shirt. He would have screamed, but he knew from experience that no one in the bar would hear him. His breath came in ragged, gasping pants as he struggled to maintain his composure. That creature knew it was hurting him, but Flynn didn't want it to see him sweat. "So," he hissed under his breath, "the last time you showed up as a foxy-looking redhead. You aren't bothering with pretenses this time, I see." "This isn't my true form either," the thing cooed back, leaning over and licking the side of his face with its wide green tongue. In the mirror, Flynn could see a thick trail of snail-like goo on his face where its saliva touched him. Its breath was mossy and tepid, but not entirely unpleasant. It smelled like the inside of a cave on a camping trip he remembered from childhood. Without wanting to, he found himself relaxing into the short leather back of the bar stool. He felt warm and a little dizzy, but he knew it wasn't from the alcohol. "I thought I would see if you like it rough this time," the creature whispered in his ear. Flynn turned away and lifted a hand in front of his face. "Don't. Please don't," he begged, knowing before the words left his lips that all of his pleas would be in vain. A slender tendril of quivering flesh extended from a spot in his forehead, above and between where its eyes would have been. Instead of its eyes, it now had a row of 5 vacant dimples, each a shallow, empty socket lined with a membranous gel that breathed in and out like the gills of a fish. The appendage was as thick around as a large earthworm and lengthened rapidly, engorged with until the throbbing tip touched his skin. He could feel it writhing its way up his cheek. Although he knew what to expect by now, his body convulsed involuntarily. He felt the tendril winding its way up his nose. It thrust itself into his nostrils, sliding in deeper until it penetrated his brain. In this incarnation, the creature's mouth was as wide as his own head. Behind the series of fleshy polyps that jingled, dangling from its moist, hideous jaws, lined with sharp, jagged teeth, its voice was wet and sucking, like the sound a puddle of hot crap in a clogged up toilet bar would probably make if it started to speak. Flynn hated its voice. I can do whatever I want to you, it cruelly purred. I can even make you like it. Okay, should I stop for a minute or?
You want to take a little break?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I mean, or should I keep reading? I don't know what to do.
Keep reading.
Keep reading. Let's see what do we got here time-wise. Let's keep reading.
Okay, that's fine. I think I'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
Okay. A mucilaginous blue fluid pulsed through the fleshy appendage, and Flynn watched helplessly as the drug traveled through the tendril and entered his bloodstream, headed directly for his brain. Wave after wave of chemical stimulation hit his nervous system, and as he succumbed to the intoxicant, his fear gradually gave way to intense, almost painful arousal. The air molecules surrounding the creature's form trembled slightly in a way only Flynn could see. He watched as its form slowly shift, reverting to the familiar, freckle-faced, buxom bar girl with the rust-colored hair. Over her shoulder, he could see his face in the bar back. He could feel something foreign invading his flesh, throbbing under his skin in perfect counterpoint to his heartbeat. As each fresh wave of euphoria hit him, he observed a strange orange glow pulsing in the veins that were pounding out a rhythm in his temples. When the girl bent over and bit his neck, he whimpered. "I don't know what you're doing to me," he mumbled, "but I don't really want you to stop." It laughed at him. "But you should want me to stop," the woman told him. "I am a parasite, and I'm feeding off you. I will gradually drain the life out of you and leave you a dead and empty husk. And you would like that, wouldn't you?" "Yes," Flynn muttered compliantly. "Yes, you should eat all of me until there's nothing left." His reflection stared back at him, slack-jawed and vacant. The whites of his eyes were clouded by bubbling, peach-colored swirls of viscous alien matter, like tiny ocular lava lamps. There was even a slight pink tinge to the tear that was sliding down his cheek. Cindy and Richard were standing on either side of him now, watching the scene unfold in eager anticipation. 4 drunkards from the Information Technologies Department joined the telemarketing team. The whole group was riveted by the theatrics. The secretarial pull held him in its hungry gaze as the temp, with the pastel Bill Blast suit, pulled out a pair of orange-handled office scissors and slit open the front of his shirt. "I love playing with my food," the monster shrilly announced to its admiring sycophants. Okay, I think that's probably enough of this part right now. Okay. So.